Welcome everyone to the ease session. Today is with ease with allowance. Thank you everyone for joining, or people who are going to see in the future. So when I say the word allowance, when you'll heard today, what was the first thing came to you? Or what does allowance means to any of you? Anyone who's ready to talk? And
letting go.
Okay, I like that. Suddenly people don't talk and then they all come together. I would like if you all can just raise a hand and one unmute, because most of the cameras are off, so I can't see your faces. So who's going first? So Chetan, can you go first? Okay.
Can I go ahead?
Your face. Chetan, I would love to see your face if you don't mind, but of course we'll be in allowance of it. Okay, beautiful. Right. Yeah, go ahead. Ask your question.
No, when you that's my personal stuff. Later on, you asked a question about the allowance thing. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think about allowance is being a witnesser of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So you are present. So if you are a witnesser to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, then if you consciously practice it, then you are a witnesser of your reactions to the situations. So that will enable you to be in allowance a lot more. When that being present, being aware thing comes. We have heard theoretically that we have to be an interesting point of view. But now the question is, to practice, as far as practical application is concerned, I think being the witnesser to your own stuff comes first. That's primary. Then secondary comes to reaction, being a witnesser to your reaction to the situations that are around you. So you are not neither in reaction, you won't be in reaction, nor you will be in alignment to the stuff.
Okay, so can we destroy and complete it? Because it's a lot of round and round, not just being present. And everything all that is bringing out, can we destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, for and for, all 9 shorts, boys, povads, and beyond. So people who don't know if it's a clearing statement or no, it's from the access conscious, where I'm not making him wrong or right. It's like whatever y'all are feeling the energy, or whatever y'all conclude the word allowance means in your world, we're just destroying it and coming from a space of truly being with the energy what allowance means to you. We don't have to go for what the dictionary says it. It's coming from a space of asking us truly, what are you in allowance of your being and with people around you? Get present with that energy. I think it was Abia, you who was trying to say simultaneously something. You want to go ahead now? Go ahead, unmute.
So I was saying letting go.
Letting go. Allowance means letting go. Interesting point of view. Okay, so allowance to give more. Anyone else? Or before I go more in detailing? Okay. I can't see anyone unmuting or trying to raise their hand.
Maybe allowance is to let things be as they are, not judging.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for creating that space. So allowance is like, you know what, I can come and literally behave in any form to anyone, but I will go from the capacity of just being in the presence of it, being present. Yes, what Chetan said, be present. But coming from a space of not making you right or wrong and going it, you can do whatever you want, and me being present instead of judging and locking my being in it, going like, okay, it's just an interesting point of view that he or she is doing this to me or is doing something that in their life. And our allowance doesn't mean that, okay, मैं कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ. You do your thing from the space of not to prove it by being the energy. Because when you're acknowledging your being, you will be in allowance of others, and people will be in allowance of you in being more. We make it significant. No, allowance will be in certain areas. Oh, this is not right about the society. This is not good about the family. And cut, everything starts happening. But when we get present that he or her is doing exactly from their capacity, instead of making they're old, they're too young, they just don't get it, or start going in the sympathy zone of their reality, oh, they must have gone through that way, so I rather sympathize with them. Either way, we are locking ourselves or making it right or wrong. Underlying energy is we're judging them. But when you're coming from a space of true allowance, you're seeing them as a same individual being as yourself and them, and going like, okay, now what? It's just a point of view, what they are doing in their life, how they're doing it. Now, my allowance is, what would I like to create from that space? But the minute you're giving them power or giving them the window, okay, they'll control and dictate me, you made your being less. So you're not ready to show up again in the allowance of who you could be. You gave your power away. Because a lot of time in this reality, people are believing allowance means, I have to come in allowance of where the house or that workspace or wherever y'all are, it's an allowance of each other. So it will be a bigger piece or scenarios will be calmer, then everything can go smooth. Allowance is more from the acknowledgement who you are and who they are. There's no separation. We are not saying we have to make them go hug them and go like, no, make them explain them, but coming more from the space of they can choose. And a lot of time people even think, because you're not reacting, that means you're, very cold towards me or very indifferent towards me. That's a different energy. You have to be present when you're really being an allowance of someone, you're giving them that space to create their world and you're creating your world. But when people act indifferent, that's a different energy. That's why when sometimes people do that. Anyone, anything? Is it getting clear?
So Rashi, it's basically also acceptance and letting go, right? Letting go of a lot of stuff and accepting.
Accepting is again, theek hai, meko manna padega. Allowance and acceptance is a fine line.
Precisely, right? It is a fine line between the two.
Fine line. Accepting means, okay, I'm accepting you're not a so good for person, but I should be in just acceptance, because underlying is you're still judging that person or that scenario.
No, forget anyone else, even to yourself, right? I'm not talking about the other person. Accepting yourself, letting go a lot of your judgments about yourself. I was not thinking about somebody else. I was only thinking about.
If you don't mind, can you give me a precise from what? Because I'll guide you better there.
No, it just came. These two terms came up: acceptance, letting go, and acceptance. I don't know where I'm coming from, honestly, but these two terms came up.
Okay, so now since you got that energy, now get honest with yourself. What are you trying to accept about you?
Everything.
So you're trying to say, I just have to
be judgmental about myself. I'm very judgmental.
Say that again.
I said I'm very judgmental about myself.
Exactly. I was just going to get you there. So again, you're making yourself wrong. As you said, in your world, you're not thinking about others. But somewhere the underline is, agar main kisi aur ko nahi thappad mari, I'm maring myself. Kaina underline is, we are not an allowance of them or myself.
Okay, so the next term that came up is because they have passed so many judgments about me, I have started judging myself and not accepting. So I'm just to let go that part of their thought forms and accepting myself the way I
am. No, so you have to be in allowance. So you're accepting because they didn't, so you're forcing yourself. So somebody.
I'm just trying to be happy in my own skin.
But be honest, because the way I'm perceiving the energy, it's more from a space of judging, ki, oh, this is better, I just accept myself. Okay, you can't acknowledge me, I'll rather. Don't do it for the heck of it. Be in allowance if it's something bothering you, because the reason they could judge you is it's your radiating energy.
Right, 100%.
Right? So underline is you were already judging yourself for something. That's why he or she or that family or that society could pinpoint it in your face so loud and clear. And that could be for 1 day, 1 year, or from your childhood.
Because I'm so judgmental about myself, I'm throwing out their energy to the people around me or to the universe, so they behave with me in the same.
Yeah. So when you're saying I'm accepting myself, you're trying to tell the universe, because the judgment is still lingering. So you're just making peace. We are not asking for peace. It's not about violence or peace here. It's about being an allowance. This is who I am. Now what? Again, not to being arrogant,